Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Hope you guys had a good day. Um, Welcome to a new episode of Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. And I am your host, the Freak, Reese. And as you can see, I am solo tonight. My co host, Springer, King Springer, is not here. He's not available. We had a meeting on Sunday. We discussed what we were going to talk about on the show tonight. Everything was good to go, and haven't heard from him since. I don't know if I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what's happened. He's leaving me on red. So, but the show must go on. So without further ado, we'll get into the show. We're gonna review the Clash of Paris pay per view that happened on Sunday. So first match we had Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. Um, Roman Reigns came out with the victory. Um, Solid match. Reigns came out. Massive crowd pop. He came out with two Ulafalas on. I guess one represented his dad and his uncle. Was the other one represented the Wild Samoans? So nice little homage to them. And of course, Bronson came out with his Shuafala. That's one of the greatest gimmicks in wrestling today. Um, basic match. It was back and forth. Not gonna get too much into detail, but Reigns ended up winning after a spear, obviously. And then main thing that happened was the after-match attack. You had Heyman. Heyman was in the ring, seeing if Bronson was all right, and then Roman was out on the announce table celebrating, and then noticed that Heyman was in the ring, so he went back in the ring to get his shoes back off of Heyman. And Heyman was begging for his mercy, like, saying that he was his tribal chief and yada, yada, yada. So then Roman put him in a guillotine choke, threw him on the ground, grabbed his shoes, went out and was signed the shoes and threw him out in the crowd. Eric Cassidy, the crowd in Paris was hyped all night except for one particular incident. Yeah, it was a good crowd for the PLE and the next night for Raw. So right as Roman Reigns was throwing his shoes out, Braun Breaker appeared out of nowhere and speared Reigns off the table. So and that led to the post-match attack. I guess that was payback for attacking Heyman. Bronson and Braun Breaker were in the ring beating up Reigns. Out comes Jey Uso. Jey obviously had a match later in the night. So it's kind of, somewhat confusing as to why he would come out and help. But on the other hand, that's family, so you got to do anything for family. So it all came to head, and Jey ended up getting his ass beat. Um, and then he. So let me think here. Oh, so Bronson Reed kept doing the um, his move off the top rope, and then out came the stretcher. They put Reigns on the stretcher, and we all thought it was fine. And then Bronson come back in, gave him another splash off the top rope. So, and that was just their way of writing off Roman for the distant future, a couple weeks, because I believe he's going to be filming Street Fighter, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so, but we all know that if you read everything isn't private anymore. We can all read that on the internet. So we knew he was going to get written off of TV. So yeah. So keep that in mind. With Jay had been involved in that post match attack, so be interesting to see how that translated into the main event later on. The next match was tag team championship, the Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits. Nothing really happened here. The only thing noteworthy was Angela Dawkins and Montez Ford had a little disagreement during the match. Now, could that be a prelude to a Rockers esque turn for either Montez or Dawkins? Me personally, I would like to see Montez in the Shawn Michaels type role and have, say, Dawkins being thrown through the glass there. I think Montez is the bigger star in that tag team. Uh, so, Wide Six picked up the victory with interference from uh, Nikki and Uncle Howdy. Eric Cassidy, the former King Striker, was very upset with the win of the best tag team around the Wyatt Six. I is it right to say that they're the best tag team? Like, is there even a top tag team, honestly, on either SmackDown or Raw? Like, I can't. Nothing really sticks out. Tag team wrestling in WWE is pretty much. I mean, it's still existent, but it's not what it used to be, in my opinion. I'm sure there's others that have the same opinion. It's just not really focused on anymore. Third match of the night. This could have been a bathroom break. Um, Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title. Um, Everyone had to have known Becky Lynch was going to win. She's on, top of her game right now. So her beat. Dude, I'm telling you, the shit is getting annoying. I don't know if someone's hacking me or what. The shit is getting old. It needs to stop. Carry on. As I was saying before I got rudely interrupted, um, this was just viewed to me as another notch on Becky Lynch's belt for defeating a quote unquote legend. Uh, Nikki Bella is not a legend, as I stated last week. Not a legend in the ring. She's a legend backstage, obviously, and only getting her opportunities because of the guy that she was with. Um, and if you watch that match, there was a moment where she went to do an insecurity off the the second rope and completely whiffed by like 2 feet. And that wasn't bad enough. Becky Lynch like stumbled a little bit to sell it. Like you could see that a mile away. Like in my opinion, you shouldn't sell something that was botched. Whatever, but and then I guess Becky did the right thing and continued with the match. Um, didn't really like the ending. It was just a quick reverse pin. Whatever, like they traded stealing each other's submission moves. Whatever. The match really didn't do nothing for me. Glad Becky won. And uh, she would play a major role later on. Spoiler alert. Up next, you had the good old um, all right, this needs to be addressed. Oh yeah, good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Rusev and Sheamus. I could sit and watch these guys brawl all night. Uh, this was one of the better two. There's two good matches on the card. This is one of them. They just beat the living piss out of each other. Um, I blame people who work in the trade. That's kind of far. I would think it'd be like Carrolltown or something, Eric. Um, did they just bring Nikki back to have a future match with Kelly Kelly since she has signed a Legends contract? Um, I mean, I don't know. They were neither of them are good in the ring, but both are legends in the backstage area, from what I've read. Going back to the Donnybrook match, um, you guys just beat the piss out of each other. Both left welts on each other. They used kendo sticks. Tables were in the match. Uh, now, I'd like to know if those barrels were actually filled with something. Be pretty cool if they were. Um, but Rusev ended up winning. I'm glad Rusev won because he has more to gain out of a win than Sheamus would have. So I was glad to see that. Um, Rusev got the win with the accolade, and he had a shillelagh locked in Sheamus's mouth. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool ending there. Then you had the second best of all time, John Cena, versus one of the worst of all time, Logan Paul. No, I'm just kidding. Logan Paul's decent. Um, he stayed toe to toe with Cena in this match. Um, now, did that match prove to everybody that he should be a mainstay in the WWE? That's a tough question. Everyone's gonna have their opinion. Um, I'm surprised that he's putting on decent match after match. Most of the time they have celebrities in matches and they just god awful. They just do a few spots, but he's actually putting on decent matches. Um, this actually, I'm surprised this one took a while. We're all used to Cena and his 6 moves of doom. But I wrote a couple of moves down that we usually don't see him do. Um, Eric Cassidy. It's pretty cool that after the match, Logan actually went on the internet and gave massive props to Cena. Yeah, I could. I mean, yeah, it was cool. I may have, if I was Paul, I may have waited a day or two. But I guess with Unreal on Netflix being out now. I guess all the secrets are exposed. So, no surprise there. Um, so, going back to the moves that Cena had in his repertoire that I didn't know, um, he pulled out the End of Days, which we know Baron Corbin um, performed well. Surprised that he landed that smooth. I popped out loud for that one. Did the Hurricanrana, the Code Red, or Pop Rocks like Roxanne Perez does. Did the Angels Wings, made famous by Christopher Daniels. So lifting double underhook facebuster. And the most surprising move that he did was the Styles Clash. Um, was he paying homage to Styles, or is that like could that be one of his last remaining matches? Hard to say. Um, but in the end, Cena ended up winning in a good match. Cassidy, have you seen the videos of Cena actually walking around hunched over due to his illness? His body is really messed up. No, I have not seen those videos. I seen that there was something wrong with him. I don't remember offhand what was made public. If you could refresh my memory, I did notice that on the pre-show. I don't know if it was Michael Cole or Wade Barrett, but they had slipped up and said that Cena's last match was in January. Um, is there something to read into that, or was that an actual honest mistake? Hard to say. Um, I would like to think that December is his last match if he's, if his body is really banged up. I believe what's he have left? Like 3 or 4 matches left. So I guess watch him while you can because he's not going to be around too much longer. So, then the last match of the night, um, I could see why it was the main event. 8 appearances and not sure how many matches. I think somehow Brock Lesnar has to come into play. I don't know if um, I don't know what's going on with WrestlePalooza. I don't know if I'm sure he's advertised for it. Like, where's Brock at? Like, where's Brock coming to play for this? So, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Uh, I'm telling you, whoever is doing this shit needs to stop. If you're trying to sabotage the show, it's not going to work. So you may as well just quit. All right, main event of the night was CM Punk. He fucking sucks. Seth Rollins, Jay Uso, LA Knight. Uh, and remember, Jay Uso was involved in the post-match attack on Roman Reigns, so he come into the match all banged up. Uh, Bell rang. CM Punk got his payback. Super kicked him out of the ring. Um, then later on in the match, Jay had the chance to put Seth Rollins away, but chose to fight CM Punk and LA Knight. And as we see later on, that cost him. So if he would have went after Seth Rollins, could the match have went differently? Hard to say because we don't know. It didn't happen, so it's hard to say. Um, I mean, this was solid match tonight. Big spots. Everybody got their kicks in on each other. Um, so the finish came by. It was Rollins and Punk in the ring. Punk hit the go to sleep on Rollins, and if you notice, he was close to the rope, so he, kneed him in the face and leaned back against the rope. Punk got on his knees, and then Rollins laid back on him, and then he CM Punk picked Rollins back up and moved to the center of the ring, and you could tell, like, he picks up somebody up for the go to sleep. He usually hits that right away, but he stood there, took too long, so I sensed, something's going to happen. But who's going to come in and save Seth Rollins? Uh, Bronson and Braun Breaker were kicked out of the building for their post match attack. You had Paul Heyman was in the hospital. So who is going to come save Rollins? There's nobody else on that roster except one person. So Punk standing in the center of the ring, and this small masked figure crawls into the ring, low blows Punk. Drops Rollins, and then the masked person unmasks, and who is it? Becky fucking Lynch. Rollins' wife came to save him. Then Rollins hit the curb stomp on the chair. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch screwed CM Punk again. So that made that match a whole lot better. I know it was is made to light that this was their last PLE on Peacock. So was this considered a big moment, like a oh my god, I can't believe that happened moment? In my eyes, I would say yeah, because you wouldn't expect a female to get involved, in a big match like that, big caliber match like that. So it's really surprising uh, to see Becky Lynch do that, but it wasn't. So in that'll lead to something down the line there, which we'll cover at a later time. Backstage earlier in the night, when Uso tried to get a yeet, the crowd barely responded to it. I thought that was funny. It's Jay, not main event Uso nowadays. I mean, he's still 95% of the crowd still yeeting. He's a merch seller. That caters to the younger generation. So I'm sure they'll keep him upper mid card a little bit longer. Um, Now he could he have screwed himself, because I think it was, the news come out that once he won the title, like, he took a step back and was slacking, so that's why he lost the title. You think it is going to bring AJ Lee back for a mixed couples match, or is WWE messing with the fans just like Seth and Becky did for his injury? How about this, Eric? I'm not going to go into detail about that whole thing. Um, and well, here's a surprise for you guys. We are going to be doing another. Well, I guess I am, because who knows where the hell Springer is. Going to be doing another podcast on this Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Going to have a special guest on the show. Um, this individual is from Pennsylvania. There's a hint. And this person will be bringing a belt with him. So you can read into that. And on that show, we will discuss, AJ Lee, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, that ordeal. Because I think that's a bigger topic than to just have a 2 to 3 minute segment on. Um, so Friday night, 6:30, myself and the guest will discuss this and some few other things. So you're not doing anything Friday night? Tune in. We'll talk CM Punk and AJ Lee and that ordeal, because that's probably uh, the biggest news story in wrestling today. So overall, Clash in Paris, I would give that an overall B minus. That's probably giving it too much. C plus. It just really wasn't just a glorified house show, minus the main event and the ending. Like, it didn't really do too much for me. For it to be their last pay per view on Peacock before they switch over to ESPN and everything, I thought they let the fan base down. But that's just my opinion. Others may think it was good, but I thought it sucked. So you guys that are watching, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe if you guys haven't. Uh, Share the podcast with your friends. Do we have any more questions, comments, anything? I knew you were coming. I knew you were coming, Eric. Since you have the NWA Wolfpack theme music at the beginning of the show, who composed it? Oh man, you really got me. I don't even know who sings that, Eric. Is it how about answer me this? Is it a well-known rapper? So I do like the old school like rap music and stuff. So knowing that, should I know who it is? I don't think I've gotten a single trivia question right. So, and thank you for your activity and comments on our podcast every time. Like the interaction with you. Really, Jimmy Hart and Howard Helm are the composers. Now, who's the voice behind the music here? I don't know who Howard Helm is. I almost said Jim Johnston, but that was a WWE thing. Mike, or here's a question for you: do you think, Eric, Jim Johnston should be in the Hall of Fame? See, murder is the voice. You think Jim Johnston should be in the Hall of Fame for all his theme songs and all the contributions? 'Cause me personally, I believe so. But all right, well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna wrap up the show. Short and sweet tonight. Solo dolo. Won't be won't be solo on Friday, like I said a little bit ago. Next podcast Friday at 6:30. special guest on the show. Um, Tune in. We'll be talking about the whole AJ Lee, CM Punk situation going forward. See you guys next time.
I got nothing else.
Is that it, guy?
That's it.
Cut it?
Cut.